Hello, everybody, and welcome to another community fortress. This is the Fortress of Relicgrooves and was sent in on the Discord by Gamma. If you would like to send in a fortress for me to have a look at on this show, simply join my Discord server. There's a link in the description of this video, at which point you will then be able to submit your fortress. Simply look at what other people are doing, maybe do a little write-up and post a couple screenshots, and link your save file in a zipped folder. It should be able to You should be able to just upload it directly to Discord. However, if it's too large, feel free to use another file sharing service. It's pretty simple all in all. But this little fortress, a member of the local site government Bells of Sign, SNU, I'm not sure how to say that, as well as the civilization, the Decent Pulley. I like a decent pulley. You definitely want a decent pulley so you can have a good pushy, if you know what I'm saying. As for this world map, civilization's kind of on the other side. It's got some nice coloration going on here with some interesting biomes, as well as a nice mountain range. I kind of like it when people generate smaller maps like this because it kind of looks like it's a portion of a larger space instead of just like a very large space, if that makes any sense. But we're going to dive in. Surface level, this fortress is quite pretty. We have a bit of a biome split here. So we have these feather trees everywhere because it's a good biome, as well as this rather large little waterfall that kind of runs off the bottom of the map. Very large trees everywhere, of course, various feather trees kind of scattered everywhere. Super thick forests on this one, and everything is just kind of serene in these very dense forests. Of course, there's a little road running to the edge of the map. Hopefully, traders can make it in easily. And of course, there's a wagon parked, waiting, and wagons are just arriving. There are some tame pandas on the surface, and you'll notice upon glancing, there is 200 plus population in this fortress, and we are the capital. Of course, we do have King Arab, and he seems to be a rather happy king, as well as a county of Hatchet Righteousness, the Count. There is a mayor living here. No champion has been assigned, however. Would be a good idea to assign a champion because they do act as like kind of trainer for your military and may have other features in the future once they get added, but we can move down into the fortress. Now, this is a third cavern layer fortress, so we're going to need to get down quite deep before we actually really see anything. I do want to point out this is a massive safety concern right here. I would definitely put a drawbridge or something here so that you can close this off or maybe wall this area off because things can just walk right in here. As we move a little bit further down, we hit the first cavern layer, and I just want to know, I wonder if this is custom world gen stuff, or if this cavern is actually just this open, because outside of detailed world generation, I've never seen caverns this open. Very nice, wide open space down here, though, in this first cavern layer. Very muddy cavern, but all of the essentials are growing, so, if you, for some reason, need dimple cups or, sweet pods or plump helmets, there's definitely a surplus right here, as well as, like, cave wheat and pigtails and all that. But as we move down into this labyrinthine fortress, we move through the second cavern layer, which is also equally open. Looks lovely and beautiful. Nice little beach down there, frankly. It looks like dwarves would love to frolic on that cave moss, I would say. And then as we get a little lower, we start to actually hit the fortress. So this is our first layer that we're going to take a peek at. We have tombs all the way around, kind of assigned to various people. This one, of course, is assigned to the king. This one must have just been a very loved dwarf in this space because there's, just this beautiful little tomb right there set up for him. There's a small siege workshop down here and a couple scattered around tools and things. Kind of feels like old fortress stuff, like this was where the dwarves lived once, but have since moved deeper. And then as we move down into the fortress, we start to see the bedroom layout. Now, this is one of my favorite ways to build bedroom layouts in caverns, is just start filling up the space that you have. And you end up with these wild, cool, all over the place, labyrinthine, organic looks. We've done a few cavern forts on this show recently, and they always kind of have this awesome natural look after a little bit. The main thing I think I would do differently here is I would have taken advantage of all of the boulders that you'd be digging out here and use them to make floors. And it would save you from having these random scattered boulders, and also, give you some masonry practice to make bricks, and then you can have more interesting looking spaces for your dwarves to sleep on. It also increases the value ever so slightly. We have these green glass doors, which are actually called portals, not doors, when you construct them, unless they've changed that, which I don't think they have. And then there's green glass furniture and cabinets everywhere. Some nicer bedrooms here for dwarves that are of importance. This is the Count's space right here. And then if we move down to the bottom here a little bit, there's kind of a space where dwarves are congregating a little bit. And we have all of these individual temples. I've seen this style done a couple of times, just placing tons of tiny little temples nearby. Definitely an easy way to just like get a whole bunch of temples done. And also I think it works with socializing too, because they stand so close to each other. And then down here we have a little guild hall and then some more spaces. We have a little pen and pasture and another guild hall, as well as a dungeon over here in the corner. Definitely too small of a dungeon for this many dwarves, but I digress. Farming down in the cavern layer means for highest production and very high output. And then up here in the top side, we have a tavern, the Crystalline Saffron, which is of course a dwarven tavern with a very stanky area right next to it, because it appears that this Batwoman appears to have died in the doorway, so that needs to be disposed of. But aside from that, beautiful little spot right there. One layer below, we have the King's Quarters, which is notedly made out of brass. A very fancy material, even for a king, I would say. I'd say any king wealthy enough to have a brass living space like this is definitely somebody of importance. The entryway is a little bland. I think I would have dressed this top side up a little bit more. I do like this glass structure, though, although I would have completely filled it up with glass and maybe put something up here, like a dining hall up here for the king or something, but I digress. Then down here we have an office, the dining hall, and then down here, or maybe like a library for the king up here. I don't know. And then down here is the king's quarters, the king's room. Very nice space for a king. I'm sure the king greatly appreciates that. And then there are many other ramps kind of going everywhere, because it kind of becomes a ramp fortress at this point. Stairs do keep going down, but there are little ramps kind of leading you to all of these various bedrooms and spaces kind of scattered around. Another office space down here. And as we continue to scroll around, we have another dining hall over here, which is connected via these ramps from this room up here, which is why people are congregating up here. They come up here, they grab the food and stuff, then they go down to the dining hall. There's some clothing around, but those can be probably going to get traded off to the next round of traders, which are currently upstairs. And then we have a few little mine shafts, and some things are on fire. Don't mind that. And as we scroll down a little bit, we move down into the lower portions of the fortress where things are being mined out. We have forges just above the lava, and if we move up a little bit, those of you sensitive about spoilers, you may want to squint right now, but we do have some spoiler friends here where they have been mining away at the gem fields alongside of this little gecko monster who's been entrapped via peeking through fortifications. So, very smart way to do that. And I'm glad that you were able to get that creature sealed off before things got too dangerous. There is some fire here, which is interesting. Odd place to see fire, I'll say. And then there's this little space by itself, which is a little odd, this random bed right there. And then there's spaces to get into this cavern layer if need. And that is pretty much the fortress from what I can tell. I've kind of done a little bit of spinning around and looking at other spots, but that seems to be more or less everything. Now, the other question is, how well does it run? Because I am running on the experimental build here, and there is quite a lot of entities in this map. It's 213. Combine that with everything going on the surface. So I'm really curious to see where this frame rate stabilizes. Around 30? 34? 35? Not bad. Perfectly smooth. Shoutouts to Putnam's performance increases. It's really kind of cool to see these forts run as well as they do now. Like realistic, like really, like this is really nice. So, thank you very much for sending in this fortress once again, Gamma, so that we could have a look at it. I'm sure that everybody enjoys seeing your glorious rustic third cavern fortress delve, because honestly, this is a really pretty cavern. Like everything about this cavern is pretty, and the little construction here in the middle, it really kind of makes the scene. Like if we swap over to ASCII 2, it flows together so nicely and just makes for such a nice spot, especially when stuff is just kind of burning in the corner for some reason. What is actually happening over there? I didn't notice that initially until I turned to ASCII. Why is there just a bunch of stuff burning down here? What an interesting cavern. Oh, I see. There's a bat person. Well, it must be all out war then, between the bat people and dwarves, because they are resorting to arson. Thank you very much for having a look at this fortress. Once again, this one's sent in by Gamma on the Discord, and you can do the same simply by going down to the Discord link in the description of this video. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like to see more of these, check out this Discord. Check out the Discord for all the fortress saves, and check out the YouTube channel for more videos like this. There's a huge playlist of these. I've got 60-something of them now, and we're looking towards building a contest pretty soon. I'm kind of in the planning stages right now of making a bedroom design contest with some restrictions and rules. If that's something you're interested in, watch this space, and I hope to see you in the next one.